Okay, Timmy and Rusty Chapter 15. The boys had decided to lay low for the rest of today and probably tomorrow, and will wait for the chief to call them. Maybe he would fill them in on what Lieutenant Weldy had found out at the school and some of the friends that the Allens may have had, if they had had any that would admit it. Ben went home and he saw the appliance men at the house and thought he would see if he could be of any help in any way. The men had already brought out the old washer and dryer and moved them back out by the garage, but he could still see them. I would bet his mom had already called the family and told them they were ready for them to come pick them up. The weather was going to be good for the next couple of days, and Ben would cover them if the family was not coming tonight. Ben went down in the basement as one of the men were hooking up the hoses to the washer while the other man was attaching the dryer electrical cord. He has attached the white accordion vent to the wall already and would put that on the dryer next. They were a real pretty almond color set, Maytags. Mom usually got white, but she must have wanted something different this time. Not that it really mattered when it was in the basement anyway. Ben's dad had a small workbench down there, and there were some clotheslines near the ceiling that were there from the old owners who may not have had a dryer. Ben had seen some of those old washers that had the two flat rollers for wringing out the water in the clothes in the old days. They had had an old black rubber tube that emptied the water into the wash tubs, but his mom really didn't use those anymore as the plumbers put in a new drain for her. Dad had used those old tubs for washing some dirty shoes and his hands from working. Ben's mom had a basket of clothes to be washed and was going to try it before the men left to make sure nothing leaked. The dryer would be fine. After the water entered the washer and nothing leaked on the floor, the men left, and Ben's mom thanked all of them for what they did and moving the old ones outside. They tipped their hats and went on their way. Ben headed back up to his room to rest for a while before supper. He called Timmy on their low-power walkie-talkies. "Hey, Timmy, you there?" he asked. Timmy replied, "Yes, I'm here, just reading some comics before supper." "I hope the chief calls us tomorrow with an update on the Allens," he said. "Me too," said Timmy. "But if he doesn't, that's okay. I could use a nice quiet day." "Yeah, I guess that would be okay," replied Ben. "I could cut our grass tomorrow anyway," he added. "Well, I did ours earlier this week," said Timmy, "so I'm good until after Sunday." "If you decide you want to ride bikes tomorrow, let me know," said Ben. "Okay, I will," replied Timmy. "Out." Timmy thought it was just best to let the chief call them before their next move, so hanging around the house tomorrow was his plan. Dad had come home early and brought hamburgers and French fries from Prince Castle, so Mom would not have to cook tonight. Timmy liked those, and their fries were almost as good as the ones at Miller's, but not quite. Everyone enjoyed those. The Cubs were playing the Cardinals in St. Louis, and it was on WGN, so the family decided it was baseball night at the Joneses. It was nice to have everyone together, and Timmy and Rusty sat on the love seat together and watched the game as Timmy took time just to pet Rusty's head. They both seemed to enjoy just having some time together, and Mom made some popcorn about the fourth inning. Timmy was up early after a good night's sleep, and his mom had made oatmeal and toast with butter and strawberry jam. Timmy liked that. Timmy's dad was halfway finished when Timmy had come into the kitchen. "Son," said Dad, "you were sleeping pretty hard, and I was not going to wake you if you were that tired, but glad to see you before I left for work. I'm going out of town for one day overnight, so keep an eye on Mom for me, will you?" he asked. "Sure," said Timmy, "no problem." "I'm going over to the church for about an hour to help Mrs. Miller with some work she needs done today," said Mom. "If you and Ben are going to go somewhere, just give me a call at the church and let me know before you head out, okay?" she asked. "Yes, Mom, I will," said Timmy. "The chief may call and may need us for some important police work," Timmy said in a very serious voice. "I'm sure it will be if he calls," said Mom with a smile. "You guys just be careful and not hurt the bad guys, okay?" she kidded. "Yes, Mom," said Timmy. "We won't hurt anyone, promise," he replied with a smile. "Bye, Mom and Dad," said Timmy, as they both headed out the door. Within 10 minutes, the chief called on the walkie-talkie and filled Timmy in on what Lieutenant Weldy had found out. Seems that the Allens did not have many friends, and the older brothers, Bob and Jack, were good kids in school, and Jack actually played football and baseball at the high school and was all conference and had some scholarship offers, but he did not go. He stayed home and helped the father with the Gulf station and took it over when the father had a car accident and both parents were hurt badly. Jack is about 5 years older than Bob and 7 to 10 years older than the other boys. The other boys were in and out of trouble, but nothing major except the bank robbery. The lieutenant was going to go down and talk to Jack at the station sometime today and see what he can find out. It may be that Jack knows nothing about the bank money either. He drives a nice Mustang, but it's not fancy and about 8 years old, so he is not wasting the money, just keeping the station going. The chief said he would let the boys know anything when the lieutenant came back. He told them to enjoy the day off. Timmy was somewhat disappointed, but he knew he should stay home for today since Dad was going out of town. He let Ben know on their walkie-talkies, and Ben was fine with that. He was going to go to school with his dad and help get the football gear ready for the new season coming up. Had to find out if they needed some new helmets, jerseys, pants, and footballs. That would be fun for Ben, as some of the players would be around, and they liked Ben. They said their goodbyes, and Timmy went upstairs and found an old book he liked, The 5 1/2 Club, and he began reading it again.